Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Man-Made Thoughts. My name is Quatez, and this is No One Left to Fight number 5. Can y'all see that? Really, this just kind of, it's not bittersweet. It's more like anticlimactic because at the end of the book, I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it for you now. They beg you to please give them some more money so they can do more with this story that doesn't really go anywhere at all. And I was kind of mad. And I'm probably going to do a video like, no one left to fight. What happened? Because I guess I'm like the last person on earth talking about this story right now. I mean, it had so much promise with the first issue and, a guy suffering, he's the champ and all that stuff. And the things he has to go through, the way he feels about hero worship and all that stuff. And then we get to this, which is like an over-designed mess of a comic. But hey, whatever. Art looks pretty. It's by Aubrey Sitterson. I'm guessing people don't like him. I think I think they think he's insufferable. I don't know. I don't. You know how they tell you never meet your heroes or, kill your gods, that sort of thing? Uh, I don't really follow people that I like on social media because they might say something that you just don't agree with, but that's human nature. People say things that you don't agree with all the time, but you shouldn't, I guess, cancel them and stuff. But I'm guessing he is one of those guys where people don't really like him. But Fico Ossio, he's on some otherworld mess in this one. But anyway, so as usual, we get our Billy Katz, intro where he sums things up. This one is pretty not rad or funny, but like I said, this book has really, really good art in it. Really good. Just drink it in. Look at that. All this detail. Unfortunately, um, a lot of this you can't even really tell what's happening. So allow me to narrate. Okay, so he dashes at them, uses his hammer, and smashes the ground. Tamor does his I'm mad Vegeta bullet barrage thing, the rapid beam blast that really never ever does anything. And even in Dragon Ball, it didn't work on Cell, didn't work on Frieza, didn't, probably didn't work. No, it definitely didn't work on Majin Buu. So why is it that all these like anti-hero guys always go for this play? It's always this play. My desperation attack is going to fire a bunch of little beams that hurt, but they don't. They just kind of shrug it off. And they think they're doing something. But I do like his line of dialogue right here. It is, stay back, Vale. Brutorn's mine. This beast took Krista's arm. But I'll have his head. But then he just keeps saying, die, 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 But you would already know that if you read the interviews before this comic even came out, because the character art that Fico Ossio drew definitely had like notes in it like, oh, maybe he took her arm, maybe he didn't. I suppose he did, because he's the only big dude running around here in this whole story that they're scared of. But anyway, they do their power up beam blast. Yeah. This is cool, but at the same time, remember how I said the last issue, they said they promised to have the biggest brawl ever committed to the comics page? Well, these guys are pretty ineffective. Like, they're supposed to be the world's champions at fighting. And yet, like, they're so, I don't know, inept at fighting. I mean, I get it. It's been like 10 years since they've seen each other and all that stuff. But, like, they're so incompetent. Like you dressed up in your battle gear to go on a journey for whatever reason. No one even knows why because the story never got that far. Did you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when I was a kid and I was writing and drawing my own comics, and I really wanted to get to the fight scenes. So like nothing before that was. It was just kind of supplementary stuff to get to the next fight. This, they put all the supplementary stuff up front, and now they have the one big fight, but it doesn't really make any sense. Like, this dude, I get it. He's revivified. He has, like, he has the power of the Hierophant behind him. So nothing really hurts him because he's not the same as what he was before. He's stronger than he was before. Okay, we get it. But for them to, like, unveil all of their, like, special moves on this guy and nothing works, I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just... you are more worthless than TN versus Cell. No. Because at least TN versus Cell, he actually did something. He held Cell back with the tri-beam. Even if that was all he could do, was just keep hitting him with the tri-beam. This is more like, no, can't even say it. Yamcha versus the Cyberman, because he kind of defeated the Cyberman, and then it was a trick play. But, so anyway, everything is looking dire for these guys. And the Hierophant is just like, he's just reveling in his he's such a weak villain. Like, he has no presence at all. He's like Pokemon trainer. He's in the back, like he's in the sidelines yelling stuff on his flying jet bike thing. Like, I can't believe people are like, oh my gosh, the Hierophant is like so he's back there like, it could have been you, Vale. Revivified, made stronger, made better by my hand. But you've made your choices. Like, you kind of can't take him seriously, because he's not doing anything. He's controlling this guy. He's more like at least Babidi, in Dragon Ball Z, because that's what they're going for here. They're going for a Majin Buu character, like a completely mindless dude who's controlled by somebody else who brought him back to life. They're going for that. Anyway, I'm gonna skip a couple of pages. Anyway, so they decide to go Super Saiyan, and that's ineffective. But he does his Baba Balam, and the same one that whatchamacallit did in issue 2, which they don't really explain where he learned that or why she knows it too. So I guess we're just gonna assume that Mistress Harga's move is the Baba Balam move, which is also ineffective. So yeah. And then, they decide to, surprise, fusion, and which this is also ineffective. It was literally nullified in one page. Fusion, no fusion. Fusion, no fusion. I really don't want to roast this book because the art is freaking amazing. If you can't see it, if you cannot see it, this book has some amazing art. It's too bad everybody's over designed. You can't even put this show on like Netflix because like it would have to be simplified so much because like everybody's really over designed. Like, I get it, the characters are supposed to look cool, they're supposed to, look really cool, but at the same time, there's too many details on the page, and the color work is just kind of in the way of these super detailed characters. And I get it that the artist, he colors his own stuff, so he's like the Sony Bravia effect, where you get a PlayStation 4, and then you get a Sony Bravia, and then you get the Sony speakers, and they all upsell each other, like they make each other better. I don't know, it's just too much. But anyway, yeah, nothing works. And then she does her I'm Trunks. But this is my favorite panel in the whole book. Not the dialogue, because who cares? But the page, like the pacing, the pose, it's so dynamic. It's so cool. If they would have led with this, like if this was the first issue, instead of what we got for the first issue, people would have bought this book more. Then they wouldn't have to beg people in the back of the book to go and tell your friends to go buy a comic book, because they're not going to do it. That's just like when you tell your friend, hey man, listen to my music. you play them something and you could tell instantly that they ain't feeling it. So they just are like, yeah, that's nice. Yeah. What else you got? You know, that's what it's like. But this is so much energy. This is so much like passion and power. If you led with this, because you could have used this to explain what happened 10 years ago where, they saved the world and all that stuff. If we started with this and used it as a flashback to like, hey, this is where she lost her arm and all that stuff, and how they distracted them, they were able to do a power meld and all that stuff. And then, we started from like where he was walking into town and, he's like, hey, look, guys, it's a celebration of the 10th anniversary when we killed that dude. Let's go see it, But no, they didn't. And that's why nobody's buying this book. Shame, really. And it's just like, she is the most effective fighter on here with technology. So you mean to tell me that like 1,000 punches of death, Wolf Fang Fist, Baba Balam, a Super Saiyan Zenkai power boost, Rasengan, none of that stuff could beat this guy. But he can be slashed to death and explode. And then the Hierophant is just like, well, geez, I'm out of here. You'll be mine one other day. I'm out of here, dudes. And he just bounces, like, and nobody even says, we'll get you, Hierophant. No, they just let him bounce. And he's just out of here on his Zoomer. Whatever, man. What is this, Jack and Daxter? He just has a Zoomer. He just flies away after the end of this. Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense. And then, like, he's just like, oh, man, something's wrong with Vale. I think he's dying. And then it's just like, okay, so what? You know what's the thing about compelling stories is? We actually care about the character. I don't know who Vale is. It's been 5 issues, and no one knows what's wrong with him. He just suffers from PTSD of some sort. Now we're supposed to feel bad for him because he's dying and he's an ineffective fighter. So he's strong enough to beat his friend, his best friend, but he's still weak enough to lose to a villain he already beat before? I don't get it. I just don't get it. And he has a Zenkai power boost. He can go Super Saiyan, but yet he still, that didn't work, Then he had to resort to the same old, I got to fuse. As soon as they fused, he fell out of fusion. He did his strongest technique. He still didn't do anything. So one wonders, who cares if Vale dies? Like, literally, he's the least compelling character in this whole story, and this story's about him. I don't get it, man. It just doesn't make any sense. And here's that begging message. Is this really the end? Tell your local comic shop, your family, and your friends, your enemies, and everyone you know. You need more, no one left to fight. And you would think, because this is the last issue, or seemingly last issue, or whatever last issue, because it just felt hard. Like the sales went, whew, because nobody wants to see kids fighting in the backyard. I like the journey aspect of it in issue 2. I like the characters they introduced in there. Too bad they were just cannon fodder because nobody even cared. She could have ran out of nowhere with like a double axe handle straight to Brutor, and then she could have fought Krista over Vale, and like the scene would have had a lot more emotional weight to it. But instead, it's just like, look, you turned him down multiple times in the last issue. Why are you feeling really sad? There's no reason for you to feel sad about him. He's been suffering the whole time. You've been rejecting his advances. He's wanted to talk to you, touch your shoulder, give you a back rub, and you're like, no. And then you didn't even want him there. You've been complaining the whole time. Every single issue, you've been complaining. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to feel bad that you feel bad? It doesn't even make any sense. Oh man, I think he's dying. Oh no. I don't get it. I just don't. But, because first he's mad, his kids wanted to be him. Now he's just like, my best friend is dying or something, bro. And like I said, at the end of these types of books, you would think that like the writer and the artist would be back there like, hey guys, this was this is Aubrey Sitterson and Fico Ossio, bro, and and they're explaining to you this is what was going in through our heads when we wanted to tell this story. There's no compelling reason that I should go tell my friends to go buy this story. There's nothing about it except for the art. This can really just be a series of art book, like a sketchbook that the artist wanted to put out. And he's like, hey man, I also color. What's up now? There's no compelling reason. Get the author and his friend in here and let them explain to you why you need this book in your life. It does not live up to this moniker of the comic I always wanted. Because the comic I always wanted is better than this. Because I can create one better than this. Might not create one with better art, but I can definitely create a better story that does not meander for 4 issues until it gets to the point of fighting people. It's called No One Left to Fight. That means you will expect to see a fight scene because somebody really, really bad has to show up, probably at the end of issue 1, and scare our heroes into being stronger and better because you're trying to mimic shonen manga. So if you're trying to mimic shonen manga, then you need to have a really big bad dude show up who wrecks our heroes in the first issue, and then he constantly plagues them. Not some guy who shows up on a Zoomer and then he's like, ha ha ha, you better eat this fruit or I'm gonna do bad stuff to you. And then he resists him and he's like, well fine then, I'm gonna revive somebody that you already beat. And then he still is like no menace, no terror, no anything. He's just there. He's literally there. He could have hit him with a bomb blast and just blew his Zoomer up. And then how's he going to get around? Because clearly he doesn't use his legs. He flies around on a Zoomer. What is this supposed to be? What is this story supposed to be about? Is it supposed to be about no one left to fight? Or is it supposed to be like making fun of manga and shonen? Or is this... I don't know, man. How did they spend so much time on this story to come up with this? Did anybody at the creation process say, you know what's really, really popular? Anime. You know what we should do? A somewhat anime book. We kind of like Dragon Ball and we kind of like Naruto. So, yeah. Because, whenever it's popular anime or manga, those are the only ones that get mentioned. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, man, I was always down with anime ever since I was a kid, man. And they're like, oh, really? Well, what's your favorite one? All of them, bro. like all of them? Really? Yeah, but I really like, My Hero, Academia. And, I really like Dragon Ball Super. Like, that's what I'm feeling right now. You don't like the classic stuff. You don't like... you don't like Sailor Moon or the crazy stuff that I wasn't supposed to be watching, like Biohunter or Fatal Fury, the anime. A Wind Called Amnesia, also one I wasn't supposed to be watching, but I had older teenage cousins that would go to Blockbuster and get this stuff. It was 17 up, so I was watching it anyway. And you don't like that stuff? You don't like Fist of the North Star? No. Just the new stuff. So whatever. If they don't care, I don't care. This is not a hard pass. This is a very easy pass. If you see this on the shelf, you're going to be fooled by the pretty colors and all that stuff. And this dude being buff. But this book is really low T for what it is. Like, there's a little bit less testosterone in this than there was in Tom King's whole Batman run. Like... these guys are so big and buff and so ineffective and weak. The woman saves the day. Black woman, green hair, weirdo looking black woman at that, which is just weird. And then she saves the day and no one cares. No one bats an eye. No, nothing.